Because here's the thing, it's become obvious to anyone who's got a brain, really. It's become obvious that this has nothing to do with trying to deport criminals and everything to do with skin color. I mean, that is the honest truth about this. And all of the guys with the little dicks that have signed up to be ICE agents, that's why they signed up to be ICE agents, so that they can make their dicks feel bigger. And their egos are so fragile that if any woman steps up to them, let alone a person of color or a woman who's a person of color, but any woman who steps up to them, that triggers them. Yeah. They can't stand that.
Yeah.
So
hello. And welcome to
Grandma's Not Right.
Never had a lesson.
That was awesome, actually.
Thanks, man.
Miranda would be so proud.
My nose trumpet. Oh yeah, she's good. She's good at the fake trumpet.
All right, so if you're joining us for the first time, this is Grandma's Not Right, because we're grandmas. We're not right, and we're not right.
Yes,
we're definitely.
There's nothing right about us in any word, any sense of the word.
Right. It's not right, but it's right. And we're a little bit stepping to the left of right and center.
Yeah, we're very left. Yeah, so I've always been left of center. I'm just not left-handed. My brother was, and I accused my mother of. I'm left-footed, and so I accused my mother of maybe she made me become a right hand, and she goes, "No, I swear." I said, "But I'm very creative, Mom. So left-handed people are creative. So I think you did. No.
Maybe so.
But you're right-handed, and you're very creative. So I don't know if could be bullshit.
Who knows?
And already talking about nonsense.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. We digress often.
I'm excited, though, because we got a couple of comments.
We did.
We got some comments.
Yay.
And, I'm such a procrastinator, so I put, one little video out as of this recording of our first episode. What are we on, 10? I think this is on 10?
This is 10.
10. Yes. And again, who are we? Who do we think we are? We dream big, baby. It's fun. It's just fun to think about all the possibilities. And we were joking earlier when I said, you look at celebrity podcasts and it looks like a studio,
Right. It's all nice looking.
And
professionally.
I won't get there. But, I would laugh you go and buy all this stuff and do. And then, if you enjoy it, that's great.
Right.
But that you do all of that and it's the same content, does the professionalism really make a difference if you have the same content?
That's
so
true.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But thank you to everyone who has watched and subscribed and liked and shared, of course. And, if we've pissed people off, sorry. You can comment. You can send us an email at grandmasnotright@gmail.com.
Yep.
.com and I don't know why I said .com because that's really not necessary, but
that's all right.
Kids.
Some people don't know, but so we'll post that.
Thank you.
Right at gmail.com.
And we now have a TikTok and an Instagram. I don't think we have an official Facebook. I don't know if you want to do that
one. One. It's something we can consider.
The Instagram goes to Facebook and shares, so I figured that would be good, but. We're going to keep putting in some YouTube shorts and things, and however you get your... And we do want to do an audio podcast. We're still working on that. We're going to have to put our audio and figure all that out. She'll have to figure... What do I say? I don't do shit. She does all the technical work. I'm just the mouthpiece. No, I'm just kidding. But no. So how was your week, sis?
My
got
week.
Any juicy stories? Or
I have a couple. I have a quick one about Jason, then I have another quick one about Jason. Let me. My son Jason, as most of you know, he's 32 and he has severe autism, or level 3 or whatever they call it these days. Anyway, fairly nonverbal.
I'm sorry. I just love because we've done gymnastics for so long that level 3 is like advanced, as in,
Right.
ooh, you're really advanced.
He's advanced.
But then he's level 3 autism advanced. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. This is how we roll.
It's true.
Okay.
So, Mom got Jace just a basic kitchen timer because I told her he likes the ticking of clocks.
Oh, okay.
So for Christmas, one of the gifts she gave him was just a kitchen timer and he loves it. And every time he knows that he has to wait for something now, he wants me to turn that timer on so that he can tell how long it's going to take.
Working, Mom.
So it's
Good
perfect. It's just the perfect thing for him.
That's
I just
great.
love it.
Okay.
Anyway, but guess what he's learned to do? Every once in a while, in the afternoons, I'll pick him up from his program. We'll get home, and then he wants to watch TV. So he sits and watches TV, and I'm sitting there next to him. And once in a while, I just want to doze off for a few minutes while he's watching TV, right? So I close my eyes, and I'm going to lay back, and I'll hear him say, timer. He'll pick up the timer, and he wants me to set the timer for how long I'm going to sleep. He does it. So I literally have to set it for like 20 minutes where I can just lay there,
But you know what was funny on
But
that?
it's awesome.
Well,
at
that's
the
the
same
thing. I was going
time,
to say, that he's figured that out. Hey, kudos
it's like,
to him.
Total
But
creative,
what a
independent
dick
thinking.
also.
But it's like,
He's 31. Like, that's a total dick move, too.
it's crazy. Anyway, so
Oh my
there's
gosh,
that.
I love this story.
And on the way here, okay, I want you to pretend you're driving.
Okay. I don't know why.
So she's me. I'm going to be Jason, okay?
Don't put your finger in my eye. Stop. I'm trying to drive. Oh,
Stop. Stop it.
Really? Okay.
Coke, Diet Coke.
Diet
Coke.
When we get there, you get your Diet Coke when we get to the station.
Gas station.
Yeah, we're getting to the gas station. We've got about 20 more minutes to go.
Oh my God. Bathroom?
Yeah.
Bathroom?
20 minutes.
Bathroom.
Can you wait 20 minutes till we get to Chevron?
Bathroom, please.
Okay, but if we stop at wherever we're going to stop, I'm not getting you your drink until we get to the other Chevron. You still have to wait. You can look at me all you want. It's going to be the same answer.
So anyway, and it goes on. The entire drive.
And you're about an hour.
This. Yeah. So it's 45 minutes of that.
Why was he so hyped up?
In the middle of
you
trying
think?
to navigate
Have
traffic.
you figured out why he's so hyped up? Is there no
It's
rhyme
like
or
every
reason
once
to
in
it?
a while. Sometimes he'll just sit there perfectly quiet listening to the music and really doesn't say much the whole drive.
Contemplating
Other times
life.
he's just hyper.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Just like any one of us.
Yeah.
Have too much of this, too much of that.
And so it's a very anyway. So that's
I'm
enough of
sorry.
that,
I gotta say,
but Widdershins just came out from under the blanket.
I gotta say
on the
this
bed.
because my cat, or my grand cat, I don't want to say it's my cat because you're not my cat, but she gets under the covers where the little top cover to get warm. So there's just this bulge. She's like, "Where's Widdershins? Look at that bulge over there in between the pillows." And she gets down there, but when you were pretending to be Jason, you went for a second. Her whole body jumped,
and I woke her up. I'm sorry,
I was filled with
Widdershins.
glee.
I'm so sorry.
I'm hashtag sorry not sorry because
I think you need to use your phone and
and
you need to do a little clip of her right now so that we
my
can
God.
and then you send it to me so I can
I will.
add it in here.
All right,
Widdershins.
hold on.
Smile.
Wait a minute.
And I can crop it. So it's
Widdershins. Hi. Did you just wake up? Look how sweet you look. Oh, you look so sweet. But
and
you'll
she's
cut a
15
bitch.
years old.
No, she's going to be 18
she's going to
years
be
old
18?
on March.
Oh my gosh. Wow. 18.
Well, actually, we'll save the whole pet thing for another thing. But I may have talked about this before in the other episode that I found out her birthday is very close. We figured to Boba's, and then my dog, and then I found out from my son that, well, I think my dog was born around that same time. I go, well, I guess it's gonna be a pet party. So I'm gonna have my granddaughter help me plan a doggy party. She'll probably like, and this cat. I mean, 18, man, that's like a child's lifetime. A cat. That's just So bizarre. I mean, we had a dog that lived to almost be 19, like 2 weeks shy of 19. So I just say 19, but
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing right because
She's vicious though.
he's
I'll tell you that.
awful.
That's
But
right.
anyway, well,
Okay,
that's a cool
so how
story
did your
about
week go?
Jace.
Okay.
Excuse me while I burp. It was good. I love my granddaughter. I watch her every day after school, and I'm so glad for it. And I'm not trying to talk shit on the local daycare after school situation. I just want her to be with me. I don't want her to be in the daycare, and that, so I pick her up after school, and I take her to all her activities. She has jazz, ballet, gymnastics, and tumbling. Now, gymnastics and tumbling, I'm the teacher, so
Yikes.
I can guide her. And if she's messing around, it's not just her. I'll tell the other kids. And I'm the mean one. I'm the mama bear, and I lay it on the line in the first. I'm like, hey, I don't play. You mess around, you're going to go sit with your parents. Does everybody understand that? And they're like, oh, yeah, she's going to mess around.
means
This old
business.
lady. And so, but my granddaughter, meanwhile, it's just like when you don't listen to your mother. It's like, yeah. She gets goofy. And then I'm like, I don't want to have to call you out for anybody, but I got to treat you like everybody else, So she was in her jazz class, and all the girls are supposed to be doing like a stretch. They're kind of standing like this with their leg and put their hands down the front leg, and she's looking at herself in the mirror. Totally from my loins, obviously. She wants to do the dance part, when the routine comes, and now we're going to work on
do
the
all
show.
the boring stuff.
Yeah. And so I look at her through the glass. Wait till I'm just like this. Just wait until she looks at me. And then I go. So she knows that means knock it off or I'm taking you out. And she just gives that look like total instant. And she was good for the rest of class. And then, there's this kid that they always find each other. I was that way too. I have
The other
ADHD.
troublemaker,
I always would find the troublemakers. We gravitate towards each other. And each parent wanted to blame the other for your kid's the one that's making my kid. No, your kid's the one that's making my kid do it. And I won't mention names, but I had a friend like that where tell your parents I'm at your house. And then I always got blamed for being like I did it when she did plenty on her own. Right? So I'm like, okay, I'd have a lecture with her because some parents said, oh, I think your girl was pushing I have to tell you this girl was pushing my daughter, and she's kind of giggling. The mom's like giggling about it, like nervous laughter, I guess. I go, yeah, we're working on her keeping her hands to herself. And I was trying to be all nice.
Yeah.
So the mom's not even watching her kid. I look at that kid is totally trying to get my granddaughter to do something. And I could see my granddaughter going, like she knew because I was watching. I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
So now I've told her, don't go near that kid. And it doesn't matter if it's my kid or your kid's just don't go by that kid. So out loud when we got there today, she goes, that girl is because I told her go to the front, and that girl was always in the back. Go to the front. That girl's in the front, and I'm like, don't say it out loud. And so anyway, so she, she did okay, but the whole point was just that I am more how my kids were, and my daughter doesn't do the total gentle parenting, but there's things I say that come out of my mouth that's old school. And she'll go, Mom, we don't say that. Like whether it's body image stuff, like if I say, well, grandma's just fat and can't do that. I'll say something, Mom, we don't say that. And then I'm like, yeah, she's right. Okay, in that case, it's right. But then like here, I'm going to pull you out. Now her mom would pull her out if she's messing around. But I give like 0 chances. I'm like, nope, we're done. Bye. Where there's a little bit, she knows that I'm no nonsense, 0 chances. But
Gotcha.
So it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's been a week, and my daughter and I always kind of go back where she goes, well, she's transitioning because she was at her dad's for a week, or it was, well, school just started after a big break. And I get it. She's right, because people like us that have high emotions, I know that because I did it at the gym too.
Yeah, it
after the
affects
show
you.
was over, I'd always get sick. Well, why do you think that is? Because you're like, dee, 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 dee. And then the show's over. And then here comes all the, you're hyped up, and here comes all the sickness that you were probably pretending didn't exist, and your immune system's down.
Yep.
So and she's totally right. But there's times I'm like, whatever, these kids today. But ultimately it's her child, and I'm never gonna overstep that. That's where, you don't want
That's
them
the
to
way
have
we have to
sweets,
be
you don't
as-
want them to watch
as
TV.
grandparents.
I follow the rules.
It's a good thing.
Talking about following the rules,
Following the rules.
we got a humdinger
Yeah.
today that's touchy subject, and some of you will love us, and some of you will hate us at the end, maybe.
cares?
And again, I don't care because
This podcast is our
We're not
podcast,
right.
and we're going to talk about whatever the fuck we want
That's
to talk
right.
about. What do you think of that?
oh my god,
So,
you get my sister to say the F word, boy. Woo! Some shit's about to go down.
well, here's the thing.
Yes.
We make these, we record these podcasts a couple weeks ahead before we release them.
Yeah.
And so the last one that we did, the one we did last week, which was The Girl Who Dates Black Guys. That was the title of that one. That was done before the tragic, horrific thing that happened in Minnesota.
Right.
And so after that happened, I don't want to say I felt a twinge of just like, gosh, we're putting out all this silly stuff and are we being insensitive to what's going on in the world? And then I thought, well, it's not that we don't recognize it, we don't care, and we're not paying attention. Our whole mission is just to, first of all, to get it out of us. We
like everybody else, we like to discuss things and vent about what makes us
about
upset.
things.
And sometimes I might take it over the top and then have to dial it back,
But yeah, we want to.
Sorry, Wittershins is shaking the light. Go ahead.
Shaking the light. We want to also just provide content that's interesting, informative, entertaining. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's stupid and people only watch 30 seconds and then they're gone. I don't know. I don't care. We're doing this for us as much as for anyone who's interested and entertained.
We're having a good time.
But we want to also let everyone know we are sensitive to what's going on.
Yes.
And we are going to talk a little bit about that today. Mm-hmm. We might make fun of certain things going on. It does not by any means mean that we're making fun of the entire situation.
Right.
So I just wanted to preface this episode with that, while we may make fun of certain things, we're not making fun of the situation because we realize how serious it is. Mm-hmm. And we realize that our white privilege makes this a whole different ball game.
Right.
Anyway.
Yes. I mean, there's some real shit happening to real people. And I can't even imagine. And, we had talked earlier that, my son is, on the last episode, my son is, he could be Mexican. He's part Puerto Rican, but he could easily, and his name's Miguel. So if he gets pulled over, prove show me your papers, whatever. It's like he was born here, and everyone who knows me and knows my kids in our town would know that. But there's those people that would, on social media, something happens and there's always, to that girl who got shot, and there's all the comments, well, her past or whatever. But you have people that know.
Yeah.
Your family knows.
Yeah.
His dad was there at the hospital when he was born. Everyone who knows me knows my kids grew up here. So if my daughter, who looks black, but could pass for just about anything, they're pretty ambiguous. But that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's getting to the point where a lot of people we know would say, whatever, that's not going to happen. But it is happening.
It is happening. It is.
And I want to ask, we have relatives, very close relatives, I won't say who, but very close relatives they're all for this. They're all for it.
Yeah.
They think they're getting
doing a great job getting rid of all of those horrible criminals.
Yeah. But I want to ask, if that was, if it got on the news and you saw my kids getting questioned, well, if they just comply, but why should your grandkids or aunt or your nephew or niece or however you're related to my kid or your cousin, why should that my two have to? Why should they have to? Because they look different. You're okay with that?
Yeah.
You're okay.
Because here's the thing, it's become obvious to anyone who's got a brain, really. It's become obvious that this has nothing to do with trying to deport criminals and
There are
everything
rapists.
to do with skin color. I mean, that is the honest truth about this. And all of the guys with the little dicks that have signed up to be ICE agents,
Yeah.
that's
you know
why
what?
they signed up to be ICE agents, so that they can make their dicks feel bigger.
Wow.
And their egos are so fragile that if any woman steps up to them, let alone a person of color or a woman who's a person of color, but any woman who steps up to them, that triggers them.
Yeah.
They can't stand that.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
they want us to comply. Well, I shouldn't say us, because obviously they're not going to
They're
stop
not pulling
me.
us over.
But they don't want us to interfere.
Yeah.
But they want people of color to comply.
Yeah.
Well, you should be able to show your driver's license, and that's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
they shouldn't be able
Right.
to pull you over and profile you in the first place.
Yeah.
But if they do, and you show them your driver's license, that should be sufficient.
Exactly.
Unless there is a warrant for you and you got your poster in the post office
Right.
as a criminal,
Yep.
they have no right. And they have no right under the Fourth Amendment. They do not have a right to break into your house. They're lying about that. Look it up.
Yep.
Google it. They're lying. They
Yeah.
do not have the right to do that. They do not have the right to rip you out of your car. They're acting lawlessly. All because they have little tiny fucking dicks.
Yikes. We'll definitely have to put some eggplants and caution for extra
know,
language.
extra.
I'm just
Sorry.
kidding. I'm loving it. Are you
Sorry.
kidding? I got the filthiest potty mouth of both of us.
Well,
so
today's-
that's whew.
You've hit my nerve.
I guess so. But you know, like I said, it's that whole put yourself in their shoes, and everyone's all for something until it happens to one of their family members. However, some people don't care. Like I just said.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to be careful, as I don't want to say, but it's usually the older people, older than you. She's older than me a little bit, but a little bit. But it's that generation that's older that will say dumb stuff like that. Well, they should comply. But they're also the same as says a girl shouldn't wear short shorts because she's asking for it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's that same mentality. It's that same
mentality.
age group.
Right.
And if you are of that, then we can't have a conversation anyway. It's pretty much a moot point, because you're not going to change them, and they're not going to change me or us. So,
Yeah.
but it's frustrating. And my granddaughter has a stepmom that lives I'll just say they live in America, but it's a border town, and they go over, which makes me nervous as hell. I have no problem with going to Mexico, but I do have a problem with the dad's white. I mean, super white.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
but the mom, is from Mexico. Her stepmom's from Mexico and speaks Spanish. And, I just have,
Terrifying.
what if she can't come back? What if?
Because her granddaughter has very dark skin and
she's
black wavy hair.
She could pass for Mexican.
She could. I mean, she definitely looks.
She's not as dark as her mom, but yeah, she's darker than.
She definitely. She does not look like the typical, blonde white.
Oh yeah, I know what
child.
you're saying. Yeah.
So
yeah,
she definitely doesn't resemble her dad.
As much, because he's got blonde hair, and I think he's got green
very
eyes,
pale
very
skin.
pale.
So it's like there is that fear.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't matter who has papers or not papers or whatever, they don't care. And that's what's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there are people that have papers, and they're taking Americans that don't have their ID on them, and they don't even know. Like I'm sure I'm pretty safe, but a lot of people, like we talked about in the last episode, the people thought I was Mexican. And I mean, there's just no guarantees at all. You don't know.
Well, and I think the bottom line is for them to not accept your driver's license as ID, that in itself, to me,
Wait. But they want driver's license to be able to vote. That's valid for any American. They want people to be able to show their.
Right.
See what I mean?
But I'm saying if that's what our idea is all about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And yes, I understand. Some of you will say, well, illegals can get driver's licenses and they're still illegal. Okay, whatever.
Then why show up for voting?
But if you have that identification in your hand, your driver's license,
right.
And if they're truly following the law, they should be able to run that license and find out if there's any warrants or whatever.
Exactly.
But no, they don't add that step into their little loop, because that would make it, that would take all the fun away. They can't harass you if you're here legally. They can, but I mean, if it's proven that you're here legally, it takes the wind out of their sails. Right. They don't have any fun then. And this is all about them getting even
with whoever. But and she's far more. I'll be honest. My world is job 1, job 2. My granddaughter. I read my Apple News in the morning to see what's going on. I listen to all the monologues of all the comedians to get, the funny part of the news, blah, blah, blah. That's all I just have time for. And then scrolling at night to get any other juicy details. But the reason I said that, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second, but mostly just they want us to believe, like you said, that they're looking for hardened criminals and all that.
Yeah.
And I see these Asians. Sorry, I laughed all I could think of was laughing about him slipping in the ice, and then all the little montages of them falling in the snow. Sorry, that's so sophomoric, but it's just hilarious to me. But I picture like the guys that join up are like people we went to school with that are former football heroes from 1970,
right?
Whatever,
they
or
still
80.
Think of themselves as these big, strong jocks.
Yeah, and it ranges from those kind of people, people who play their little whatever. And I'm not cutting it down as a sport, but like airsoft or whatever. And I'm not saying, because there's guys who might play Dungeons and Dragons who are into that, and then they think this is my moment.
I doubt
so
it.
I know I doubt it too, really, but I'm just saying, people that play military, they play all the
play
the military video games. That's what I was trying to say.
They're like armchair soldiers that suddenly have their chance.
Yeah, their chance, and then there's hardly any training or background checks, or that kid needed CPR that they did with the fucking not the gas, what do you call it? The flash bomb, flash grenade, whatever it was. So it's that kind of stuff. Like, you're gonna just have some yahoos. You might as well would they go to the local, I don't know, the local
costume store, pick up something to wear.
It's laughable, and it reminds me because when COVID was happening and supposedly Antifa was coming to our town to destroy a bunch of buildings. So we had our local yokels up on top of one of the roofs of our local bar brewery thing. And even the mayor at the time with their AK, whatever.
Sitting there with their guns.
Walking across like they're cowboys. Like in the western towns when they had the upper parts with the railings. That's what it reminded me of. Like the do-do-do-do-do-do, that they're walking, they're walking back and forth. Yeah, man. And guess what? No one ever came. And I had made a comment about it, and somebody had personally messaged me and said, I don't think you understand. And I'm like, dude, you don't need to. No, it's not that I don't understand. I understand perfectly that they're making a big deal. Well, they're just protecting their business and whatever. You know what? And they're doing it now. It's the same mentality. And
the reason that it even came about was because there was going to be a Black Lives Matter support protest.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Event or whatever in town.
And there was a skirmish at the gas station across from Stater Brothers. There was a skirmish at that gas station on 4th Street.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know. We saw it on yeah.
But I do know that the law enforcement backed up the Black Lives Matter side on that.
Yeah.
Because the other people were harassing them. So the thing is, in towns like Yucaipa, it's we talked about this in our last podcast. There are a lot of loving, wonderful people in this town. And this is the most beautiful city. It really is. It's a gorgeous place to live.
Yes, it is.
And talk about privilege to grow up in a place like this. But there is probably close to half of the town that are all of the MAGAs that you see saying all the stuff that you hear.
Right.
And we try to counter it, I don't
Right.
live here anymore, so it's hard for me to feel justified in doing or saying much.
No,
but
you know,
it's just
You'll
so
be back.
frustrating. And I think though, what was I going to say? Yeah, the guys with the guns and all that, and they finally got
the
their
ICE
chance.
guys?
They finally got their chance, man, to prove what manly men they are. So who are they taking out? Who are they taking out? Who are they pulling out of cars? Who are they wrestling to the ground?
Speaks volumes.
Women, old people. They're using children as bait. They're shooting females in the face because they dare stand up to them.
With a car that was not even... Dude, I've seen people use a car as a weapon. I've seen plenty of Instagrams where someone purposely ran into somebody. That's different. You're this close.
There's no angle. There's no angle of that video that shows that she was purposely trying to run anybody over.
She was just saying, I'm going, dude. I'm going to go and I'm turning this way.
Because they kept telling her to move anyway. It was like she was supposed to move. She had to go pick up her kids, so she's trying to move.
Yeah.
He was a frustrated man with a fragile ego and couldn't stand the fact that she was defying him.
Yeah. Because, you know, there's the movement in our country of the, you know, man's over the woman, woman over the children, you know, God's over the man, all that stuff. It's like that's great for you, but that doesn't belong in our laws or our country. And you know, we came over here to escape persecution, and now you want to have another persecution. You know, we could go on about the witch trials and all the people that we've oppressed, the Native Americans, putting the Japanese in internment camps. I actually had somebody, side note on that said, well, you've got to understand the time. Everybody was scared. Like that. So that's supposed to be an excuse? Everybody was scared. Okay. Just like when they tried to put the Muslim ban on them. It's like, if I knew someone who was Muslim, am I supposed to be scared of them now?
All of a sudden?
Oh no, I'm scared of them because it's just the things that come out of people's mouths like that. Well, you don't understand that time. Everybody was scared. Who was making them scared? The people at the top, the military, the president, whatever, you know, that was them saying, hey, you got to be scared of Japanese people. We're going to throw them all in these camps because we can't trust any of them. And then the Native Americans making them all have to speak English. You got to look like us, cut your hair, all of that stuff. Like who? And there are people to this day that still believe manifest destiny and all that.
And now they're trying to even take. They're even trying to take Native American people.
Oh, and they said that their IDs are not valid.
Right, because
and where are they going to deport them to? I love that when people are like, where are you going to deport a Native American to?
And I saw something posted.
Stupid idiots.
This one woman was talking about it, and she said, I know that there's controversy over, you know, whether or not we were first Americans, First Nation people, because of course the Bering Strait, and you came from Siberia, and but there's DNA that links that, but there's also DNA that links from other areas. So it's like, and besides which, we're talking 10,000 plus years ago. Whatever. 10,000 plus years ago. So they've been here 10,000 plus years. But I would call that this their land.
And by the way,
seriously.
does anybody have proof that the Native Americans took the land from somebody else?
They didn't take the land.
So that's
from
what I mean. Like they
else.
just probably walked on, and everybody's like, "Oh, there's some
This is a
land."
cool
You know,
place to live.
Did they have to fight for that land? Because I hate that they go, every land's a conquered land.
And you know why she had to say it?
Whatever.
She had to say it because now the latest thing that ICE is bringing up is you aren't this. We didn't steal this land from you. You came here just like we did.
Oh Lord!
And so that makes it okay for them.
But again, where are they deporting him? That's my thing, though. Where are you deporting a Native American?
They're not. They're obviously. I think what's happening is they're basically mistaking them for Hispanic,
right? Of course,
and they're taking them.
Well, of course,
and then they're making some stupid excuse.
Yeah,
because they're stupid.
Because they're stupid.
Stupid.
Well, and that's just it. You know, that film Idiocracy. Oh my God,
I loved that. That was the greatest.
And you know what? It's got its resurgence. It was kind of slowly rolled up, because we had talked about this the first time Trump got elected in 2016, and things were weird then. And we said, man, it's like Idiocracy. But now it is definitely I mean, the clowns he's got running stuff.
Oh my God. Mike and I I have to bring this up.
Okay.
Mike and I watched a movie. It was a documentary about this guy. His last name was Ford. I can't think of his first name offhand. God, I can't think of the name of the movie. I'll flash the name because I'll have to go look it up.
Research. All right.
Friday nights, my brain is gone, and I'm not drinking tonight, so just so you know. But I'll flash the movie up. But it was on, I think it was on Netflix, and the movie was so parallel to what we're going through.
Check it out
with our present fearless leader, the orange carrot.
The orange Cheeto carrot. Anyway. Wow. I mean, I
don't know where we're going with all this because this was kind of a spontaneous subject that just popped up. But
and it's, again, we're just telling our take on it. By the time you see this, it's not past because it's still happening, but the subject matter we might have talked about is in the past, but it's still astonishing and just it's sad. And we talk about the white privilege that we don't have to worry about that. It might affect me if it's somebody I know, somebody I love. But for me personally, I could walk anywhere I want and never have to worry about somebody questioning my heritage.
Right.
And that's like, how can someone not understand that? But all they see is, or hear in their minds, is not that it's white privilege, that it's other people doing wrong, breaking the law, not following the rules. They don't see that, well, that's because I'm following the rules. And just by being white, you were born white. That doesn't mean you're following the rules.
There are people that have been in this country 5 generations. Yeah. Their families, or even in California especially, or Texas, or New Mexico. There were people whose families were here before the U.S. took them over.
Right.
And they're still here. Yeah. So where are you going to deport them? They're here.
I think
they've been here for 5 generations. Yeah. Well, probably not 5.
I think that's what makes me the most sad.
3 or 4 generations. Or we have a current house guest. He's staying in one of our rooms right now because he's had some turmoil in his life. He's 24 years old, and he is Hispanic, and his parents were born in Chicago. So he's, and I don't know, maybe his grandparents were too. I can't remember what he told me, but he's at least 2 generations of Americans here. Yeah. Probably more. And he's scared to death. He is scared to death.
Yeah.
And that is sad.
Well, and to be honest, I don't even know where my birth certificate is. Like, I know where in my files I have boxes and stuff, but
who's going to carry that around?
Yeah, that's the stupidest shit. And it goes back to what we said earlier. Just because you're Mexican now, it's better to be safe than sorry. And white people who say stuff like, well, why can't they just carry it? It's just better to be safe. But they shouldn't have to. I don't understand why you don't understand that. Yeah. They shouldn't have to.
Right.
Especially if you're an American, you've been born and raised here, really?
Yeah.
Like, and I think what makes me the most mad is that the people who say that shit are, like, my mom has some neighbors that believe what's going on is right, and they may be of Mexican descent, let's say. And I'm like, what if it happened to you, though? Right. If you were questioned, that person would go, hey, I'm an American citizen. And they go, sorry, buddy, we're not, or lady, we're not going to believe you. And they throw them in a car. And then all of a sudden, their family's like, how could they think they're illegal? Right. But that's the point. And until it happens to someone like that, I want to see someone turn around and say, I did get detained, but they were well within their rights to manhandle me and tell me I was a piece of shit and throw me to the ground because, they didn't know if I was illegal or not. I haven't seen a lot of people say that.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't. So, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone's happy that it happened to them.
As
I'm sure it's a small percentage.
As a white person, and I'm sure you feel the same way, you feel powerless. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help because little old me, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to stop anything. If I see something happening or if somebody tried to take a family member.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what they do.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, that's
is it really going to help? I don't know what to do.
Okay.
And it's so frustrating.
Right, but this is where I got two parts to this. My first part is kind of sidetracked. I've been looking at a lot of because of the whole Greenland thing that Trump wants to buy Greenland, which is a whole other thing. But I'm looking at all the comments, and there's a lot of it's almost like the white guilt for the blacks and the Mexicans, because there's Americans. It was like a news thing, like PBS. I'm looking at all the different news things that come up on Instagram or whatever, and then you show I stand with Greenland and it's American. And then there's a lot of animosity from those people saying, oh, it's great to just talk about it or whatever. And then the Americans come back, well, what can we do? And they're like, you voted for him.
Voted for this
guy. But then they said, not all of us did, but where were you when those people voted? So it's easy for us to go, well, I voted, I did my part. But what could I have done more to try and talk people like into my position or whatever? But the second part of that is, people don't realize in other countries, good for you to say, I'm going to be an activist, but you don't have to go out and take a chance getting shot in the face to stand up. There's other ways.
But also we need to consider the fact that this is exactly what they want. They want us to be afraid to go out there.
I know.
So I have to say that me, and if I have not seen any, other than maybe driving on the freeway, I might see cars in a road that I suspect are ICE. But I haven't really seen any myself. I've seen pictures that people are posting where I live. But if I saw something that looked completely wrong, I would be out with my camera. Now, if I had my son with me, maybe not. Because if I got arrested, he'd be left sitting in the car by himself. Yeah. Because they don't take care of that. They leave the car sitting there in the middle of the street.
That's a whole other thing that upsets me. You're leaving a kid.
Yeah.
They left a kid at a bus stop.
Yeah.
Like, they're already traumatized. So to me, you don't give a shit. And people who are okay with that, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're okay with them leaving a kid at a bus stop, you're a piece of shit. If you're okay with that, I don't care if you're a family member, a friend, if you're okay that my autistic nephew, if my sister got caught, she's taking, like, those people were on the way somewhere.
Yeah.
And they got caught up and they're all trying to say they're activists with a 18-month-old or whatever. Right. If she was driving through somewhere and something happened, she got caught up, she said, hey, I'm just trying to get him to his program or whatever, and they're like, go this way, and then something happened. I'm sorry, if you think that they're expendable for your little cause, you're a piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now. And if I have my granddaughter, I'm not, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a couple of kids that are in my special needs class that I work at, and the teacher, I didn't tell you this, it was so weird. She goes, hey, I have to talk to you. I'm going to talk to everybody. Here's the thing that the county of San Bernardino is sending out to all the, county employees that we work at, what your rights are to do and not do with these kids.
Yikes.
And it didn't hit me till she said that. I'm like, oh my God, shit's hitting. Mm-hmm. I have kids that are Mexican kids that, I don't know their family status. And I'm thinking, what would I do if they came to my door? I wouldn't let them have this fucking kid. So you're right. I talk, about, I don't want to get involved, but if they came to my school and were trying to take a kid, fuck you. Well, you're not taking that kid that's in a walker or a wheelchair. I will defend
somebody.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation, I will.
Yeah.
It's just, if my son is in the mix, I have to consider, what's going to happen with him. But regardless, my thing is, I was just thinking about this a little on the subject, but a little diversion here.
The story of my life.
I think we need to really stop and look at the fact that this is like just repeated, whether it was the Native Americans, whether it was the Chinese that came over
the Chinese
and were all but enslaved as far as work camp goes, right? And then the Japanese were and then you've got, of course, for 200 and however many
400.
Years at this point, 400 years, you've got the African American or the black culture, and that the thing about that is it includes so many different types of people from different places.
Yeah,
it's
not just
African.
Africa.
It's anybody that has and
it's still going on today.
It's still going on today. And then we also need to look at the fact that even in other countries, Cuba, for example, in Cuba, your value, at least for a time being, I don't know if it's still like this, but I know when I was studying in college, I read a book that talked about the experience of a light-skinned Cuban person who had never lived there, but she went to do a journalism kind of, I think she went to do like a sociology study or something.
Okay.
And she lived with a family for a while. She said it was so uncomfortable because she had privileges that they didn't because of her skin color. Even though she was also Cuban,
Yeah.
she was light-skinned.
Yeah.
And so she was allowed all these privileges that they weren't.
Right.
They weren't allowed in the same clubs that she could go into. And she was allowed to get certain kinds of jobs, but they couldn't. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
To think of it. So
I've heard a lot of stories.
And then, of
like
course, you also have like in nations in India it may still be going on, but the caste system.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the caste system was pretty much delineated by the lightness of your skin
Oh, yeah.
to the darker skin.
Well, and my kids, one looks more black, could pass, and then one looks Mexican, and they did get treated different in school.
Well, and what I'm saying is that even within the different
Oh,
cultures
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
world,
I see what you're saying,
it's that light skin that somehow it's been embedded in our minds that light skin is somehow higher valued
Right.
type of human, and that
It's just,
is just.
I know it just seems
it's
so
systemic.
ridiculous. And
why can't we get beyond that as humans? I don't understand why that
Yeah.
continues to perpetuate.
well, and I for me, I can't, as much as, we talked about this earlier, are we missing something? Are we?
I know. Are we?
Things are so crazy. Are we the bad guy? Are we on the wrong side? I'm like, why? It's so weird. And I talked about it because I'm a total Harry Potter nerd. I said it's like when Voldemort, could cast his spell on people, and then in the very end, they're like, oh, that spell was on us. And some of the people were lying their asses off. They just they didn't want to die. It's like the mob. You don't want to die, so you're going to do whatever they tell you. Hitler, whatever. All these, it's the same thing. Our movies, our books, our fantasy, there's the villains, and then there's the people that follow them because they don't want to fucking get killed. It's everywhere in our culture. So why can you not see it that it's happening before your very eyes?
Exactly.
You're in there watching it.
This is why we need to teach the truth in school. I don't care how, when we grew up, the truth was so freaking whitewashed that I'm only now as an adult learning about half the things, the accomplishments of people of color. Or women, for that matter. I'm only now learning some of these things.
Okay.
Because I wasn't taught in my school about these things.
I did learn when I talked about this
But they want to take that out now because they feel like it's causing a division. No, it's educating us.
I took Black history and Black philosophy because of my Black boyfriend at RCC, and the same thing. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know there were so many inventors and whatever. And like, how is that? That didn't make me angry at white. I'm sure I went through a phase where I was angry at white people. I'm sure I did. For all of the atrocities that we did to Black people. Of course, I was young. I was in college. Yeah. But then, like you said, you get that catches up your age and that and you get to where
information.
If you're an intelligent person that can soak it all in and make a good assessment about it, and it's like I just don't understand how.
But the thing is, if we allow the masses, and I'm not gonna name names of groups, but if we allow certain people to come into our educational system and remove things like that are important for kids to know. I wanted my kids to know these things.
Yeah.
And so whatever they weren't taught in school, I made sure to fill in the blanks.
Right.
And now they're doing the same. Well, I know one for sure is doing the same with my granddaughter, because my granddaughter and I had a discussion.
Yeah.
And she's very well informed.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because it doesn't make her feel she doesn't feel bad. My youngest daughter, she doesn't feel bad about her race. She
It's okay to
feels
be proud of who you are.
empowered with the knowledge so that she can make sure she's not passing on the same
Exactly.
stupidity.
Exactly.
You know, I'm old, so I still say stupid things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I
I do
still
all the time.
We were ingrained and enculturated with what other, about other races by the lies we were told or the things that was withheld.
Right.
And that is the
But-
enculturation and the that leads to the privilege, right? That's where critical race theory comes in. It's reminding us, and they don't teach that in
No. Somebody
in
decided to make it
school.
a
They
dirty
teach-
word, and
that's
then
at
it just went on
college
from there.
level.
Yeah.
That's university level.
I'm teaching it in elementary school.
Legal classes and things. But the truth about that is that all of that history is like a roadmap
Right.
to all of the problems we're having between us and other races, because
Right.
it's a lack of empathy, a lack of understanding for what their families went through. It's a denial. It's it's like denying the world is round
Yeah.
because you were told for so many years that it's flat. And even when the evidence is right in front of you,
Don't get me started on that.
I know.
Bullshit. I gotta say too, and like you said, you talk about indoctrination or whatever. In my situation, I gotta be careful because I don't want to throw anybody under a bus or anything. But I've had two different experiences with teachers I've worked with, both religious, one a different religion than the other, one conservative and one liberal, and both very religious, and I respected that. That's what they believe. But the one conservative one, it's hard. It's like, okay, I can't believe that you believe that or whatever. And then the other one's liberal, and again, I'm not religious, so I don't identify with any of that. But I have to give it up for both of those teachers because they when you talk about culture, we're talking about culture. Anytime it was a holiday, anything, they recognized and would put on whatever their little book system was or educational thing they used on the TV. They would go into it and they would talk about this is what they believe and this is what they do. And it was neither negative or except they would say. Now, some of them were treated poorly if we were studying about Martin Luther King, and these are special needs kids, okay? And they range anywhere from kindergarten all the way up to like 7th grade, 8th grade. And I'll always give both of them total credit for doing that, exposing the kids to different religions, and they did not bring it into the classroom, their beliefs one way or the other, whether they're conservative or liberal or whatever. They both. So what's funny is the people that go to, let's say, are in their same religion, that are hardcore, that don't believe in that, would look at them and say, why would you teach them about Judaism and Hinduism and the Diwali, Festival of Lights? And we'd read a book about it and we'd see videos of kids celebrating it. And I thought, this is wonderful. And then in the American ones and patriotism, they talked about patriotism when it's Memorial Day. All of it. They did all of it. They didn't leave anything out.
Right.
It was equal across the board for our own patriotism and for the world. That's how it should be.
Well-informed citizens make well-informed decisions and vote with a well-informed intention of who they feel best represents for all.
Right.
But that's the problem. The educational system is creating too many intelligent people, and they don't want that.
No.
They want us to be dumbed down. They want us to just follow what they say and keep our little mouths shut and go along with their plan. Well, no.
No and no. I got my backup no right here. But you know what? Like with the whole, 1984.
I've never followed what any man tells me to do.
Yeah,
ever.
I have a real problem with male
would,
authority.
and
Sorry.
I still won't. So don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't go there.
There's no head of household. And of course, the people who believe in that would say, well, that's what's wrong with you. Fine. That's the way you want to believe. That's okay. I choose to be, if religion wise, well, aren't you worried about going to hell or whatever the belief is? And I said, look, even if God was like Hitler and said, believe in me or you're going to die, well, I don't have to choose to follow Hitler. And in the Old Testament, God was pretty much killing a lot of people and smiting people. But that's the thing. First of all, you want to get more people to come to your organization. Don't lead with you're going to hell and you're going to be smitten. No, love is the way to go. I'm going to tell you now, I've been to all different places and none of it worked. And we were talking about earlier how we've always been the same way. Mm-hmm. And you knew early on that when they talked about, like you said, how we were raised, not that our parents raised us to hate people of color. That's not what we're saying. We're talking about our society and our generation of everything.
Enculturated with a certain understanding.
Right.
That was far from the truth.
But you knew early on because you were fascinated with the Native American culture, and champions for that and went to cultural appropriation, which we could talk about that another day. But
we've been so guilty of that for so long. Sorry.
But that's how I feel about religion as well. I even as a kid, I'm like, that just doesn't sound right for me. And I'm still the same as an adult. I haven't changed. People who have been changed from one religion to another or one political party to another, I'm like, I mean, hardcore. I don't mean like, I'm on the fence, I mean a hardcore person that's on one side to hardcore. I do kind of put the brakes on a little bit with that because, or one religion to another, or it's...
I mean, we grew up in a traditional, very simple,
I would say we're in the nun category again, the NONE.
Very simple, but a very simple family that, that were Republicans. And I naturally developed into a liberal. So, I mean, it's not like... And that was because I was exposed to education. I was exposed to the truth about some things. Now, later in the years, like in high school and stuff, there were a lot of things that I didn't learn about. And I think part of that was just, I don't know. I mean, I can't...
Well, they wouldn't have thought it was necessary for us to learn that stuff.
But my
we knew that there was slavery because that...
Yeah, I mean, I learned about the basics.
And the Japanese internment.
But the point
Native Americans.
is that I wasn't taught to be liberal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I wasn't taught that. It was something that just kind of inside my moral compass knew when things weren't fair and unjust. And yet I'm not perfect by any means. I've done some really stupid things, said some really stupid things, lashed out at people.
Oh yeah.
I've done my share of bad
I've had
things.
to curb.
So I'm not, but what I'm saying is that my thought process about what's fair, what's not, that was developed naturally. It wasn't...
Right, I see what you're saying. We weren't influenced by anybody.
Although our grandmother...
Yeah, but politically, I'm saying we weren't
influenced. No, we weren't influenced in any
way.
Well,
that's not true. I know I was influenced by you just because you were my older sister. We were 7 years apart. And I was a young adult when I started working with you. And I can't say that your discussions probably I know because we talked about this the last episode when one of my teammates said the N-word to somebody on the bus when I was in high school. And I was mortified that she said that. And I knew that wasn't cool. I'm like, that I just knew. And that's before I even went to RCC or dated anybody or whatever. And I knew then, like, dude, that ain't cool. Yeah. That's not cool. Great. I knew it.
So it's, I think it's something that has to be in here.
Yeah. I didn't like people bullying other people. Right. That's a pet peeve of mine. If I see someone picking on someone in public, like a checker or a bank teller or anybody, and I'm like, oh man, they're being obnoxious towards them. It gets my blood boiling. Like, how dare you pick on that person, and I want to get involved.
But and all this, going back to what you were talking about with the teachers and religion, that could go for politics too. I have plenty of people in my life that are Republicans, but they're reasonable and they see when something is not fair.
Yeah.
So it's something that my computer's telling us that our battery is low, so we're gonna have to
cut it off.
Do
Plug
something
it
about
in.
that. But anyway, yeah. So what I'm saying is that there is a way for all of us to reasonably keep our core beliefs,
Right.
but white supremacy and racism has no place in anyone's core beliefs or core value.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't
there
help
is nothing
anybody.
that you can
Doesn't
tell me.
benefit.
It doesn't. And there's no reason for it.
No.
Even in religion, to me, there's no reason for it. And if that's what your religion is about, then count me out.
And you're full of shit.
It's
Sorry.
the same as with religion as in politics. If you have to coerce people or lie or cheat to win, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
You are a mess,
Yeah.
and no one should even consider you.
No.
Because if you can't win on your own merits, then you shouldn't
Right.
even be in the race.
And that goes for our side. You know,
Yeah,
if there's
either
somebody,
side.
there's been people who've gotten, what was it, the wiener guy?
Oh, the wiener.
Wiener who showed his wiener.
Well, look at what's his name?
And Clinton, I'm not-
Edwards.
Yeah.
Edwards,
and
who-
Clinton, I'm not happy what Clinton did
No,
because
hell no.
as a Me Too survivor, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't cool. I
Taking
don't,
advantage of underlings
Yeah.
is never okay.
So I don't. If he was on that island, fuck
and
him.
we will be talking about all of that very
Ooh,
soon.
yes.
Anyway, I think we've beat this subject.
We beat this dead horse.
Yeah, this
Okay.
poor dead horse. Although it's not dead. The sad part is this is
It's gonna
continuing to go
for a
on.
while.
But we just felt the need to discuss this with
Yeah.
you because it's current and we felt strongly about it. So this has been a little weird. I know, hasn't been the normal kind of episode for us, but
Yeah, well, again, like it or don't.
this is just our rant for the week, I guess.